Did you know they make lines more exciting than just the same width all the way across? And you can do it really easily using the width tool. So let me show you how to do that, and let's get started. What I'm going to do for the example, just to show you how to do this, is just create a line that is a very wide line. I'm more interested in, say, a line about that wide. So to start out with, um, I've got this line here, and what I want to do is to change the width of it. So instead of just a solid same width all the way across, I can change the width using the width tool. So over on the panel, you'll see width. You can access it Shift W, and you can vary the thickness of strokes that are going along the paths. So we're just altering the appearance of that as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and select the width tool. And then when I hover over this line, you'll notice that this icon changes from an arrow with a curvy line to an arrow with a plus. And what that's going to do is that's going to add a point that is the area, the place where that's going to get either thicker or thinner. So when I click and drag, it makes it thicker. I can do that further down. I can make a whole variety of different thicknesses along this one path, creating a line that's just a little bit more interesting. And so you need to think about what that purpose of that path is. And you can come up with personality. Lines really communicate a lot of personality. You'll notice that in the strokes panel, there's a profile here that's now the profile of that line. So keep in mind that whatever's showing there is going to be the profile of that. So you can also change that to some of the standard ones. If you want it tapered evenly, or kind of come thicker and thinner, or do something like each one of these is as I click on them. There's just a standard set that's already been loaded. But what you can do with this is you can create your own profiles as well and save them. So for instance, if I want to make a vine that's on a curvy line, say it just kind of curves around and maybe wraps around a little bit, something like that. Maybe a little different. I'm not loving the shape of that, but it's getting there. Just doesn't seem to be quite right. So then what I'm going to do is choose the width tool, and I'm going to go ahead and click on, in this case, the anchor here. And you can see that as I drag it, it now creates a thin to thick line all the way along that path. I can change the cap so it's rounded, and that makes it a little bit more organic in style. You'll notice that with this selected, this is the profile that I'm making, right? So I could maybe make this part a little more narrow, this part a little bit more thick, this part a little bit more narrow, right? And if I want to save that profile, I can click on this drop-down menu and choose Add to Profiles. And I don't know, I could call it whatever I want. It's kind of wonky. I'll click OK. But then I can make all the profiles of every path that I want in that same style. Now I'll have to change the cap on that, but at least it'll, this is what it'll look like. So I could have all of the lines sort of have that same uniform feel simply by making them all adjust to that profile. Hope that helps.